Yeah, let me introduce myself. My name is Terrence Pascal. I reside in Dayton, Ohio. I'm a disabled veteran. I'm a student at Sinclair Community College. I'm a social work major. The reason that we did these videos, I know you're probably wondering why, for those of you that may have seen the videos of conversations with children's services or whatever, and it's entitled Living the American Nightmare. A lot of you may have seen that and you wonder like, well, what is this all about? Well, this is the explanation to that. The reason that we did all of these videos is because I recorded conversations from children's services, because I've dealt with children's services for several years, and children's services is not always forthright and truthful. So that's the reason why the segments got actually put online. It was sort of therapy to get this stuff together, because I was like, wow, somebody else needs to see this. But we never knew that this would culminate to be a series, because we only had like 2 or 3 snippets or whatever. But this turned out to be like 10 parts actually that we have now, but there are actually like 15 more conversations with an attorney and several other related conversations that we don't even have in this Living the American Nightmare series. And what the Living the American Nightmare series is about is the situation that happened with my children when they were involved with children's services. I had custody of them for a while. A caseworker that I filed complaints against was not supposed to have any more dealings with the case, but somehow he remained on the case, active on the case. He turned around and he returned the children back to the mother after me having custody for almost a year. And I had been instrumental in those children's lives prior to even having custody. And once the children were given to the mother, there was a chain of events that shows neglect and abuse. And this is all snowballed into an agency trying to protect or take up for a worker that made a bad decision. This could be viewed as insubordination, or he had a personal agenda, or whatever it may be. But the case is, he returned children to a mother that was not equipped and ready to get the children back. And upon him returning these children to the mother, the children wound up, they were almost victims in a house fire where they were left at home alone. So after the fire, the children were in the protective custody of children's services, and the mother was supposedly in jail for 3 counts of child endangerment, which that didn't happen. So when I was finally granted visitation of the children, after I had to hire an attorney to get that visitation reinstated, or whatever you want to call that or consider that, but it was already a court-ordered visitation that the mother was not in compliance with. And so I hadn't seen my children in over 11 months. And so all of this had transpired, and when I finally get to see the children, they've got marks on them that was consistent with physical abuse. So at first I tried to take video footage down to the Children's Medical Center of the injuries, but they wanted me to bring the children. So I brought the children down at the next visit. So the physicians at Children's Medical Center had deemed that the injuries were consistent with physical abuse. I had gotten the records from Children's Medical Center, and Children's Services were contacted, and Children's Services unsubstantiated all of the records from the Children's Medical Center, which meant that when we had a custody trial, the records were not admitted into court as evidence. So that meant that someone got away with abusing the children, and it was downplayed by Children's Services, and no one is being investigated about this, because Children's Services said that my daughter, after being returned home after coming from the hospital saying she was abused, was returned to her mother, and she was interviewed by Children's Services, I guess 3 or 4 days to a week later, and then my daughter said that her mother didn't hit her, or this is what Children's Services had said. But Children's Services deemed those records unsubstantiated without even speaking to any of the officials down at Children's Medical Center, which being the physician and the social worker, which are two professionals that stated that I did not prompt those children to make the statements about their mother abusing them, but Children's Services said the contrary. Children's Services unsubstantiated the records because they said that I went down there and I tricked the physician and I tricked the social worker into thinking that my children were supposed to have said their mother abused them when she didn't. So basically, Children's Services is guilty of lying, and juvenile courts, to me, is guilty of backing Children's Services. So this video is being made for a lot of different reasons. So it's here for you to view and for you to watch. So in summation about this whole situation, I'm going to sum it all up by saying, right now, I cannot see my children. I haven't seen my children through any of the holidays. I missed visits on Easter. All of that came up at the custody hearing, and it got smacked down like it was a joke. I'm being made a joke of now. My character is now under attack by Children's Services, where they're asserting that I lied and told these children to go down here and say all of these untrue things about what their mother allegedly did to them. I would never ever do anything like that. But right now, I still do not have visits because the juvenile courts is not allowing me to have these visits. They're backing the mother and allowing her to keep the children from me. And this comes after I paid $750 to an attorney to represent me on that matter of the visitation. And, you know, the visitation was supposed to be reinstituted, but here I am now without seeing my children, and there's nothing that I can do about it. There's no one that I can go to about any of this. So, and that's like one of the greatest reasons for this video footage and all of this, to let you see that I did nothing to these people, but that we need a visitation enforcement agency to help bring to the forefront the rights of the non-custodial parent. Because here in America, people always want to speak on what a black man is. They always want to say that a black man is not a parent. I'm being kept away from and separated from my children by a judge that I know is doing this, and a magistrate, and an agency, and a mother that is doing this and trying to stop a black man from being a father here in America. When I get tired of hearing about people saying that men don't want to be fathers. I see it on Jerry, or not Jerry, I see it on Maury, to where these guys are supposed to be looked at as deadbeats and stuff like that. I've never been a deadbeat. I must be the best kept secret unless they're doing all of the other black fathers like this. So what needs to happen is people need to stand up, and somebody needs to tell the truth about who's a black father and who's stopping black men from being black fathers. And, you know, not only us, but there are other situations where other people that are non-custodial parents are being kept away from their children. And what can we do about it? Right now we can't do anything, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you as the public hear what I've heard and what I've wasted my time, or I hope it's not a waste of time, dealing with these matters and conversating with these people and cutting this into video so that it can be viewed. So hopefully something positive will come out of this rather than something negative. Because when you know the nature of the beast, what you gonna do that for?